Something is happening in driveways across America right now that nobody saw coming 2 years ago. SUVs that were bought brand new, with fresh registration stickers still on the windshield, are showing up on used car lots and trade-in lines by the thousands. Not because the owners wrecked them, not because they need something bigger, but because the ownership experience turned out to be so far from what the commercials promised that buyers are cutting their losses and walking away early. 2 years into ownership, sometimes less. This is not a small trend buried in automotive industry reports. 30% of current truck and SUV owners told CarEdge researchers that their next vehicle might not be an SUV at all. Full-size pickup sales dropped 2.5% from June 2025 to June 2026. The Ford F-Series saw an 11% dip last year. The Chevrolet Silverado HD dropped 16.8%. These are not minor fluctuations. These are cracks forming in the foundation of the most profitable vehicle segment in American automotive history. Today, we are going to break down exactly why Americans are dumping their SUVs after barely 2 years behind the wheel. And what you are about to hear explains a shift that manufacturers are desperately hoping you never fully understand. Stay with me because the reason revealed at the end of this video is the one that is driving the most trade-ins right now, and almost nobody is talking about it publicly. Let us get into it. Reason 1. The monthly payment trap. Walk into any SUV dealership in America right now and look at the sticker price on a full-size model. The average transaction price for a new full-size pickup truck in 2026 is $65,954. That is not a typo. $66,000 for an average transaction price, not a loaded top trim. At that price, financed over 72 months at current interest rates, a buyer is looking at monthly payments pushing past $1,000 before insurance, before fuel, before maintenance, before the unexpected repair that arrives the moment the warranty window closes. Americans bought into these payments during the post-pandemic years, when used car prices were nearly as high as new car prices, and the psychological gap between buying new and used had nearly disappeared. That logic made sense in 2022. It makes no sense in 2026. Used car prices have normalized, the inventory crisis is over, and the buyers who stretched their budgets to make those $1,000 monthly payments on a new SUV in 2022 and 2023 are now sitting in vehicles worth 30 to 40% less than what they paid, still carrying the full original loan balance, and looking for any way out of a financial position that feels less like an asset and more like a weight around their neck. Trade-in lines are filling up with 2-year-old SUVs from people who did the math and decided that absorbing the equity loss now is less painful than making another 4 years of payments on a depreciating vehicle. Dealers love this because those nearly new trade-ins sitting on used lots give them another vehicle to sell. But for the owners walking away, it is a hard and expensive lesson about what happens when monthly payment math replaces actual financial planning. Reason 2. The reliability wall. Here is something the SUV market did not have to deal with at scale until very recently. An entire generation of vehicles built during the supply chain chaos of 2021 and 2022 is now hitting the mileage range where problems surface. 40,000 miles, 50,000 miles, 60,000 miles. The warranty is either gone or running out. And what owners are discovering beneath the surface of vehicles that looked and felt premium on the showroom floor is a reliability picture that Consumer Reports and 380,000 owner surveys describe as genuinely alarming for certain manufacturers. General Motors had more SUVs on Consumer Reports' least reliable list for 2026 than any other manufacturer. Transmission faults requiring full transmission removal to address a leak, engine problems, persistent electronic failures, body control module issues on the Chevrolet Equinox appearing within normal ownership windows. The Jeep Grand Cherokee carrying a Consumer Reports predicted reliability score of 1 out of 5. The Chevrolet Blazer EV at 1 out of 5. These are vehicles that families bought based on brand trust, based on decades of reputation, and in some cases based on dealership assurances that any early reliability concerns had been addressed. They trusted the badge on the hood the way Americans have always trusted the big domestic manufacturers. And the vehicles that drove off dealer lots looking like quality products are now sitting in service lanes with repair estimates that feel like a second monthly payment arriving every few months. When the repair bills start landing, the emotional relationship between an owner and their vehicle changes fast, and it changes permanently. Reason 3, the hidden cost nobody calculated. When Americans were sitting in dealerships signing loan papers on $65,000 SUVs, the monthly payment was the number that filled the room. What did not fill the room was a full ownership cost conversation. Nobody showed buyers a spreadsheet with the real 5-year cost of ownership sitting next to that monthly payment figure. Fuel. A full-size SUV averaging 16 miles per gallon in mixed driving costs its owner roughly $4,000 per year at current fuel prices. Over 5 years, that is $20,000 in fuel alone. Insurance premiums on vehicles valued above $60,000 run significantly higher than the industry average, often exceeding $2,000 annually. Routine maintenance on complex modern SUVs with advanced driver assistance systems, air suspension, and turbocharged engines runs above the class average across most brands. And then the repair costs arrive. RepairPal estimates that brands like Jeep average more than $700 per year in unscheduled repairs, even for owners who maintain their vehicles diligently. Add it all up, and a $65,000 SUV with a $1,000 monthly payment is actually consuming $1,500 to $2,000 per month from a household budget when every real ownership cost is accounted for. Buyers who went back and did that math after a year or two of ownership are making the same face. The one where the numbers on the page do not match the decision they made in the dealership. And that face is followed by a trade-in appointment. Reason 4. The size problem nobody admits. SUVs kept getting bigger. Every new generation of a popular model arrived slightly longer, slightly wider, and slightly taller than the one it replaced. The 2026 full-size SUV is a fundamentally different physical object than the full-size SUV of 10 years ago. And a growing number of buyers who bought these vehicles based on the brand and the image are discovering in daily use that the size has become a genuine problem. Parking structures built before the current generation of full-size SUVs simply do not accommodate them comfortably. Drivers are returning from grocery runs with door dings from parking lots that were not designed for the modern footprint. Urban and suburban driving, which is the majority of how these vehicles are actually used, has become a constant negotiation with a vehicle that was sized for country roads and wide open spaces. Subcompact SUV sales are up 23% in the first half of 2026. The average transaction price for a subcompact SUV is $31,113. Buyers are migrating toward vehicles that fit their actual daily lives, rather than the aspirational image of weekend adventure that the full-size advertising campaigns sold them. The $35,000 price gap between a full-size truck and a subcompact SUV is making that migration feel like common sense rather than compromise. Reason 5. The breaking point. The one nobody talks about. This is the reason driving the most trade-ins right now, and it is the one that manufacturers are most uncomfortable seeing discussed publicly. Interest rates. The buyers who financed $65,000 SUVs in 2022 and 2023 did so in an interest rate environment that had shifted dramatically from the near-zero rates of the pandemic years. Many of those loans were originated at 6, 7, even 8% annual percentage rates. At 7% APR on a $65,000 vehicle financed over 72 months, the buyer pays over $15,000 in interest over the life of the loan. That is $15,000 that goes directly to the lender and returns zero value to the owner. But here is the specific situation creating the flood of early trade-ins right now. Those buyers also financed at a moment when their vehicle was worth $65,000. It is now worth $38,000 to $42,000 if they try to sell it or trade it in. But the loan balance, because loan amortization front-loads interest payments in the early years, may still be sitting at $50,000 to $55,000. They owe more than the vehicle is worth, sometimes significantly more. This is called being underwater on a loan. And when a buyer in this position faces an unexpected repair bill of the monthly payment on an asset that is already losing value faster than the loan is being paid down, the emotional and financial tipping point arrives. They walk into the dealership, take the equity loss, roll whatever negative equity remains into a new and cheaper vehicle, and start over. It is a painful decision. But it is the rational one when the alternative is continuing to pour money into a vehicle that is becoming more expensive to own every month while becoming less valuable every week. Here is the complete picture of why SUV lots are filling up with 2-year-old trade-ins right now. Payment shock from loans that stretched household budgets beyond what the full ownership cost justified. Liability failures from vehicles built during supply chain chaos that are now surfacing at the exact mileage range where warranties are expiring. Hidden costs that never made it into the dealership conversation. Size fatigue as buyers whose daily reality does not match the off-road adventure marketing realize they bought the wrong vehicle for their actual life. And the interest rate trap that has left hundreds of thousands of buyers underwater on depreciating assets they are desperate to escape. None of these factors appeared in any of the commercials that sold these vehicles. All of them are sitting in every driveway where a 2-year-old SUV just got replaced by something smaller and cheaper. The manufacturers built the vehicles, the marketing sold the image, and the owners are now paying the difference between the two. If this video helped you understand what is actually happening in the SUV market right now, share it with someone who is about to sign papers on a $65,000 vehicle without running the full 5-year ownership cost calculation first. That share might save them from showing up in the same trade-in line in 2 years. And for market analysis, This Honest delivered every week on every segment of the vehicle market. Hit that subscribe button. We follow the money, not the marketing.